almost have chills. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like everything's working tonight, which is good. This is probably it has to be the last time that I'm using the old Portal computer, but yeah, didn't get it all done today. I didn't have a chance to troubleshoot anything, so I'm not going to try to launch a cold show on untested hardware, which is not necessarily the case all the time. I usually fly by the seat of my pants, but I decided in my advancing years of broadcasting that I'll make sure everything works before I unveil it to you guys live. So, but everything's moving a little closer to that final assimilation, if you will. So, hope you guys are doing great. Wonder what's up in the world, in your world. Well, just let me know. You've got the chat. You guys can all participate in the show at your leisure. It is just you guys and me tonight. We are the show, so feel free to participate however you will. Paranormal Paul. I was just hanging out with Paranormal Paul over on his channel. Wonderful guy. We always have a great time chatting and laughing and having fun. And we had some really weird spiritual activity too. My cat ball, which is right back here. Let me show you. That's my cat ball. Went off twice. 3 times during Paul's show. Something like that. It was going off, and his was going off as well. So we definitely had some cat ball synchronicity going on. I don't know, but thanks for having me on, Paul. That was awesome. It was a good time. I always love hanging out with you, brother. You're a lot of fun to talk to, and we have some good discussions. Just got done watching Paranormal Paul and Brent Thomas. Well, thank you. Hi, Barbara Moore and Card Juice over on Rumble. Good to see you guys. I can see all the chats again. The chats are working. God, it just gets me excited. I just get so excited. So I changed the batteries and the little lights here on the mic stand so they aren't quite as subtle as they were. But yeah, thank you all. Remember the spooky kind of EVP live on the show? Yeah. I used to do that a lot for a period of time. We used to do live investigations here on the show, and we got some crazy good activity, which was really cool, which goes to show you don't necessarily have to go out and find the spirits. You just got to figure out how to communicate with the ones around you, because I think they're kind of everywhere. And we figured that out a few times, but kind of creeped out some of the viewers. And so I thought, well, it's not my objective to try to alienate a good segment of my audience. So we'll back off of that. And some Sasquatch Chronicles. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get into one article from Sasquatch Chronicles later on the Crypted Corner. At least I got it pulled up, so we'll get to what we can, but I got some great things pulled up for you guys. And again, please feel free to join in and pitch in. You got questions, you got comments, just capitalize them, or do your best to make them noticeable for me, because I'm looking at a wall of chat here. So it's sometimes hard to see them, because I'm reading stuff too. I forgot to turn on the Ghost Radar though. We should probably do that. What's the date today? It's the 29th. God, it's almost April. Isn't that something? It's almost April. March 29. That's a 9. Yep. There we go. Ghost Radar is live and underway. I didn't run that when I was on Paul's show because it's not on screen anyway. So it's not on Paul's screen. So it wouldn't be as visually compelling as it is here on the show, where you guys can see it as it's happening in real time. But we'll see what pops up on there. Last night we had a few dots occur. You never know. Hi, Isaac Areola. Good to see you, brother. And hello to Kirsten, if she's hanging out with you right there in the Lazy Acres Ranch, or what do you guys call your ranch, Isaac? You have to tell me. I think you guys have a name. I just don't remember what it was. Beautiful property, though. Beautiful property. You guys have an amazing layout over there. Anyone seen the movie Sasquatch Sunset? No, I haven't, Potato, but I've heard it's okay. I mean, I've heard it's pretty decent. I've just not seen it, so I don't know. Hi, Chris Cirque. Good to see you. And, of course, Curious Potatoes here. Jason Finch is here. Rachel Gets It Right is here. Who else? Isaac Areola, as I said. John Temperin. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. The Unknown is here. Good to see you as well. Just scrolling up. Bill Simone's over on X, checking it out. Thank you for reporting in from X, Bill. I appreciate it. Great to have you over there. It's always nice to get these messages from the other platforms. That way I know they're working. because I just can't monitor them all. I don't know what's working and what's not. I just hope everything's working. Rachel gets it right is here, in case I didn't already say that. Marstall is here. Good to see you. And cruising through the chat, I think that's, Josh Casto is here. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, Mr. Casto. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to all of you, though. It's great to have you here. Aggravated Progressive is here. Wonderful. And just looking for any other names. Renee Cruz was like one of the first ones through the door, so that was really cool. T-Bone popped in. I don't know if he's going to be able to stop in or not, but he said hello. And he was over on Paul's show, but he had to help a friend, he said. So he may not be here. That's an excused absence, folks, from the show. If you got to help a friend, that's understandable. But I just want to say hello to those of you that are here. Kitty Cattywack's in the house. Good to see you, Kitty Cattywack. And I think that's all the names I can see. Big Bird is here, because the bird is the word. So Bad Boy Channel, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, Bad Boy. Bad Boy's been a wonderful supporter of the shows for a long time. So God bless you, sir. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. But I guess that might be all the names, unless geez, Josh Casto is rolling deep. Boom, coming in with gifted memberships. Josh gifted 5 memberships. Anna Happen got one of them. Congratulations, Anna. Jamie Junie Moon got one. Good to see you, Jamie Junie Moon. Sasquatch 420 THC. Yeah, I know what you did there. That's also here. Andrew Valdez is here, and Cosmic Shy is here. Good to see you. Thank you for being members, although thank you, Josh Casto, for making that possible. You guys are awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully you'll find your membership is a valuable thing, and you choose to continue to pursue it. Brent, you and Paul had a really great show tonight. Oh, thank you, Kitty. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like hanging out with Paul. Paul's great. Raspberries is in here. Good to see you, Raspberries. Deborah Neighbors is here as well. Elaine Clifford popped in. Good to see you, Elaine. BJ Lapierre, author and illustrator, is here. Wonderful. Hey, BJ, I'd like to see some of your illustration work sometime. Let me know where to find it, because I love to draw as well, but I'd love to see some of your work, because I love looking at other people's artwork. Michelle Wolfong is here. How you doing, Michelle? So looks like that brings us up to speed with who's here. Thank you all for coming in. Those of you who are just sitting back and relaxing, listening to the show, thank you as well. Your presence is just as important. It's just that I can't see you. I lurve you too, Raspberries. I got lots of lurve for you. Absolutely. BJ Lapierre says, good day, busy day at the Penn, Ohio Paranormal Conference. Just got home. Yeah, conferences will wear you out for sure. That's pretty crazy. I love doing conferences, but they can be extraordinarily exhausting. And mostly for me, it's my social batteries, because I'm kind of a hermit. I'm a recluse. I don't get out much, and that's maybe a good thing for the rest of the world. But when I do get out and go to conferences, I got to do a lot of people time, and I love meeting people. I love talking to you guys that stop by and say, hey, I love your show. I watch your show. It's like, wow. But so it's incredibly it's an incredible honor to meet you guys. But, just as a person, I don't engage people that often. So at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm all out of gas. So I go back to hotels or motels, and I just sit and let my head hum for a while. I have to have my solitary confinement for a while. Shelley Montgomery's here. Okay, I have a question. I asked that made no sense to me. Then I'm shut up. What? Okay, I have a question I asked that made no sense to me. Then I'm shut up. What does that mean, Shelley? I don't know what that means. Hello, Foot Clan. Good to see you. Did you have a question for me, Shelley, that you asked, or what? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. What do you mean? Is that from last night, you mean? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand. I'm a hermit, too. I hate people. Carries potatoes says. I don't hate people. I love people. I really do. It's just, I'm just better in spurts with people than I am full out. But I gotta see what's that all about. I lost Shelley's chat now. God, things are scrolling so fast I can't see where everybody is. Okay, I have a question. There it is. Yeah. What was the response? Is it possible that movement within a fraction of a frame can communicate? Movement within a fraction of a frame can communicate. Do you mean like a spiritual capture, Shelley? Is that what you're talking about? Like you caught movement within a frame of some footage and you wonder if that's a form of communication? Or I just want to make sure I understand your question. Who even asked this weird crap? I don't know. But I'm saying this crap is weird. Yeah. Paranormal crap is weird? Or I'm not sure. But, I mean, questions are questions. I don't know, but I Googled it. Okay. Well, let us know what you found out. What did Google say? It's car doors slamming I hate. Well, yeah, nobody likes that. Okay. So I tell you what, folks, we got a lot going on tonight. Could have been me, but I don't know. Burlingame, California UFO Convention Conference, April 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, I'd love to make it to that one, but I'm probably not going to be making any conferences in the near future until the Medellin Falls one is happening up in Washington State. It's a smaller conference, but just going to go up there and hang out. I'm not going to have a booth or anything, I don't think. But yeah. I love going to conferences. I'd go to a lot more if I could. Again, it's exhausting, but I do love the opportunity to meet you guys. So we're going to get to the news and dive into that. I got 3 news articles. Again, there's no co-host. I thought maybe Tex was coming, but then I remembered Tex is at a conference in San Antonio tonight. So he texted me and we texted back and forth. It looks like a great time. Looks like a wonderful conference that they got going on down there. So I wish that I was there, but it sounds like they're having enough fun for all of us. But it'd be great if we could all get together at one location, right? Like all of you guys out there in the chat, and we could all just do a get together somewhere. That'd be really fun, I think, unless we didn't get along in person. That's the other part of it. Is like, yeah, I like you online, but you're in person, you're an asshole. And that could be. I mean, there could be. You guys could have that kind of take too. I don't know. Excuse me. Hold on. Got a cough. So anyway, we're going to get to the news, and then we're going to get to the Discord question of the week, of course. Our amazing Chucky Danger puts together a question every week and asks our Discord community. If you're not already a member of that, please feel free to become a member. It is in the link. The link is in the description. But maybe, Rachel, if you could post that again. I'm sorry, I keep asking you that every show that we do the Discord question of the week. Hi, Mickey G. Good to see you. But please feel free. We'd love to have you join and become part of the discussion over there. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything. And join in. There's a great community over there. In fact, if you love the chat, you're going to like Discord because all the same people are over there. And continuing the conversations that happen during the week on the shows. So hang out in Discord whenever you want. You're all welcome. The Discord chat, Rachel just pasted it into the chat. It is https:/discord.gg/paranormal portal. So if you have Discord, you can join. If you don't have Discord, you can download it because it's a free application and join. So there's no reason for you not to be there. So I'm kind of froggy as hell. I got like that really gunky froggy crap going on. It's like I gotta keep clearing my throat, like and then finally, oh, there it is, comes up in little chunks, I guess. But probably need more cardio. That's probably what it is. All right, let's get to the news and find out. Never heard new what NY dad jokes yesterday. You're falling behind. God, I heard a funny one today. I forgot it though. That's my problem with jokes, is that I hear them and I laugh and I'm like, oh, I should say that on the show, and then I don't remember it. I'm so bad with jokes. Even Paranormal Paul is on Discord. Absolutely. If Paul can do it, anybody can do it. Might be pollen. Yeah, it's really starting to bloom out here, and leaves are just starting to open. So yeah, I'm sure the air is just absolutely caked with pollen, and that's what's happening for sure. You're right, raspberries. I need a good pollen alternative. It's annoying though, because I can feel it like on my vocal cords. It's like, so I'm trying to work through it. And as I'm talking, it'll probably get better. So anyway, Foot Clan, seriously, if Paul can do it, anyone can do it. It's just a matter if they want to do it. That's true. It's always a question, but at least it doesn't cost anything to get involved in Discord. So we'll get to that, and then we'll get to the Cryptid Corner and possibly some other stories from Thought Catalog that we've been going through as well. So we're just going to get all over the place. It's just going to be a train wreck of the paranormal here on every show. So you get a smattering of all of it. And so let's get to the news and find out what the hell's going on in the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news. Oh, I hate that PG when you only get one nostril. Yeah, that's brutal. I don't even know what that is, Foot Clan, but that sounds very questionable. But all right, welcome to the Paranormal Portal news desk, and I'll be your anchor, Brent Thomas, as we dive into the news and see just what the hell's going on in the world around us. There's 3 articles of fun that I pulled up for us, and remember, throughout the course of the show, we do use a lot of different sites. Please support these sites. These sites are incredibly well done, and they need your love to continue going. Every site, it's a huge undertaking to host a site on the internet. Now, anybody can put up a free site and, with a very minimal bandwidth, but these sites are much bigger and they're getting a lot of bandwidth, and it's a very expensive endeavor. So your presence and your visits help to pay the bills, keep the lights on. So please support them. Please support what they're doing, because they're doing it right. The first article is coming from, and every article after this actually for the news is going to be coming from an amazing site called unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is one that I truly love, I truly adore, and I hope you will visit them. I will put links if there's continuing information on these stories. I'll put links in the chat. Oh, listen to that. I'm getting gurgly. Frogman. I think that was a good cough. All right. So we're going to get to the news. First article is coming from the Creatures, Myths, and Legends files of unexplained-mysteries.com. Let's check it out. Hey, it worked. All the buttons are working. Thank God. Sightings of the enigmatic Mokele-mbembe are reportedly on the rise. And the Mokele-mbembe is out of the Congo region of Africa, and it's this basically a brontosaurus, for lack of a better description. It looks like a sauropod of the dinosaur age that may be still around. The amount of people that live in the Congo in these very remote, very, what's the word I want to use? Well, they're not developed. They're very tribal cultures and such. But they are familiar with this. The name Mokele-mbembe means like blocker of streams or diverter of rivers or something like that. And this is actually a cryptid that Adam Davis back in the day actually did the first successful expedition into the Congo to look for it or to see what they could find. And he had a hell of a journey, but apparently these much, I don't know if they're simpler people, if that's the right term. I don't mean that in a condescending way, but these people living in the wilds without modern convenience are very familiar with these things. So are they out there? Well, let's see what's going on. I don't know where these reports are coming from that are on the rise, because it's such a remote location. It's surprising that we would hear about them. Well, let's see what it says. It says an increasing number of people claim to have witnessed a dinosaur-like creature in the forests of the Congo Basin. Said to resemble the size and shape of a giant sauropod dinosaur, the legendary creature known as Mokele-mbembe has been sighted in the Congo Basin for decades. Cough. One of the earliest accounts of the creatures came courtesy of German captain Ludwig Freiherr. How do you say that? Freiherr? I don't know. Freiherr von Stein-Lausnitz. Could you have more names? Why don't you just grab a few more? Jesus. Who had heard stories of the Mokele-Mbembe from local villagers during a 1913 survey of German colonies in what is now modern-day Cameroon. While descriptions varied, the creature is said to be an enormous reptile around the size of an elephant with a long, flexible neck, a horn on its head, and a long alligator-like tail. It was also said to live in caves, and although it's known to kill people, it was entirely vegan or vegetarian. Yeah, I don't think it bites to eat. It bites to kill. It's very territorial. It's probably why they've lasted for this long, honestly. People are. Let's see. It said it's also while the legend of the Mokele-Mbembe had faded into obscurity over the decades, in more recent years, it seems as though the creature has been sighted a lot more frequently. But what is behind the sudden resurgence, and could the creature actually be real? Some believe that this otherwise inexplicable increase in sightings is most likely down to increasing amounts of deforestation in the Congo Basin. Oh, yeah, I suppose that sucks. Animals of all sorts are being displaced, and inevitably this means that they are encountering human settlements a lot more often. Perhaps some of these encounters have been misinterpreted as sightings of the creature. Then again, perhaps there really is large unknown creature lurking in the forests. Without definitive physical evidence, however, we will likely never know for sure. Where are the reports coming from, though? It's it alludes to the fact that there's so many more sightings, but where are they hearing about this? From where? I mean, is it from deforestation crews? Is it from somewhere else? Where are they getting these increased reports from? Because these are not people that have the internet that essentially live out there. So there was a Ray Bradbury story where the time traveler goes back to the dinosaur times. He encounters a plant-eating dinosaur. The problem is the dinosaur thinks he's a plant. Num num. Oh, God. How's that? That's pretty wild. Hey, Bogart, good to see you. Owl 13 is in here. Good to see you as well. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's potentially possible that there are, I don't know, for lack of a better term, still brontosaurus running around in the Congo Basin? This is a chat poll. I'm doing a chat poll now, so would love to have your response. 1, you agree that there's probably something out there that people are witnessing, or 0, you think it's a bunch of hooey. So yes, 1, or 0, no, not happening. How you doing, Lenda? Good to see ya. So the Mokele-Mbembe, is it out there? Yes, number 1 in the chat. If not, 0. Binary. We're doing binary. Bogart says yes. Paranormal Pulse says yes. I tend to agree. But that's the only 2 responses so far. Foot Clan says yes, I do. 1 witnesses yes, for Dino no. So Annie says, yeah, there's witnesses, but there's not dinosaurs. Okay. Elaine could go either way. Rachel, yes. Unknown's laughing. Josh Casto is 1. Half from Aggravated Progressive. Thank you. Appreciate all the ambiguity. Or ambiguity, I guess. John Temperance, 1.5. He's very sure. He's even half extra sure. Aggravated Progressive's 1. Okay. Yeah, I think it's possible. Linda says Nessie. Maybe it is something of the same thing as Nessie. I don't know. You can't just catch a dinosaur like you can't just catch a Bigfoot, like you can't catch a little person. Come on now. Well, probably right. Nobody's been successful yet. So I would have to agree. P. Jean says, yeah, they're out there. Unknown says, joke. Laugh out loud, not at the question, at Rachel's joke. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Well, I don't know. Not much resources out there for people to help prevent being houseless here. They won't help you until you're houseless for a couple of weeks, I think. I I don't know what you're talking about, Al, but that's probably true. I don't know where here is or what the situation is. But anyway, Barbara Morrow over in Rumble says, yeah, she thinks they're out there. Car Juice, what do you think? Are they out there? Big D, what do you think? Looking for some feedback here. Just let me know. I don't know because, again, everything under the sun is apparently out there, and maybe it actually is. I don't pretend to be the arbiter of truth or possibility. Perhaps these are time slips. People are witnessing something in a different timeline, just peeking through. There's always that possibility as well. Bill Simone over in X says yes, he's on board. So, yeah, I think it's a possibility. Who can say? There's a lot we don't know about the world around us, and we're discovering more all the time. So, I certainly think it's possible. But you be the judge. You're not supposed to believe in anything. That's right, Brand. Everything is real except everything that people report seeing is real except the creepypasta crap. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't think there's a Slender Man per se, but the question you got to ask is, if enough people believe in it, does it become real? And that's not meaning like a Schrodinger's cat where it's live and dead at the same time. I mean, do people manifest a reality by their belief in something? Does that then manifest into some kind of physicality, or at least some observable experience? Do we manifest on that profound level? And I think we do. So that's interesting stuff. So anyway, unknown, we have dinos, they're birds. Yeah, they are. They are believed to be. Imagine, I don't know if the T-Rex is supposed to be related to chickens, but man, is that some karma right there or what? I mean, seriously. They used to eat everything, and now they're getting eaten by everything. Everything eats chicken. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for that article. I think it's interesting. And again, I don't pretend to know for sure one way or the other, but I think it's interesting. We should ask the cat ball. If there are dinosaurs out there, flash the cat ball. Let the spirit, let a potential present spirit answer for us, or appear on the radar right now, or say say dinosaur in the Ghost Box app. So those are 3 opportunities for this. Any present spirits of love and light that are here, because the other kind aren't welcome. But if you're here, you want to weigh in, appear on the Ghost Radar. If there are indeed dinosaurs out there, or flash the cat ball back there by the skull. All right. If you see it flash, let me know. I can only see it when I'm looking at the screen, when I'm on that scene. Where the hell's my mouse? There it is. All right, let's get the next article up, and we'll see what's next, because, hell, I don't even know. I pulled these things up a long time ago. Wait for the loading, and there it is from the UFO phenomena. Here's another fantastic article from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this has to do with the UFO phenomena, as I stated. Let me pull it up so I can see the chats. All right, here we go. Yeah, it was only you, Barbara, that weighed in on that whole McKelly and Bembe thing. What's going on with my Rumble crowd? Are you guys not paying attention? All right, let's check it out. Michael Sheen recalls eerie childhood UFO encounter in Port Talbot. I'm not sure who Michael Sheen is. Oh, yeah, that guy. He's an actor. I've seen him. He was like a bartender in that movie with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah. He was the bartender, hologram or whatever. Yeah. Pretty interesting guy. Seems like I like his characters that he plays. Oh, that was a good cough. The Welsh actor recently described an experience that he recalled from when he was a young boy in Wales. Speaking during an appearance of on the Scarred for Life podcast, Sheen, who grew up in the Welsh coastal town of Port Talbot in the 70s, had a memorable encounter with a UFO while walking home from school one day at the age of 12. All right, here we go. It was I was about to turn to go up the drive to my house. To my right was the edge of the mountain, and just as I turned, I saw something come along the edge of the mountain off in the distance, he recalled. So I stopped, and then this light came out. And then 2 lights behind it, and then 3 lights behind it. A sort of phalanx. I'm not really sure what a phalanx is. I know I've seen that word before. I don't think I've ever known what the hell a phalanx is, but that's what it looked like. Of lights coming from behind the mountain and floating out over the sea. And as I'm standing there, I'm thinking, I think those are UFOs. I'm fairly certain those are UFOs, I thought. I have to go to the house and tell my family that there are UFOs out there. But I knew that if I went in, they might disappear. So I just stood there transfixed, and I watched them come all out over the ocean, and then they stopped. And then they all disappeared. Sheen has spoken about UFO sightings over Port Talbot before, with both his neighbor and his father reporting their own encounters with strange objects in the skies over the town. My father saw something in the sky above Port Talbot that wasn't just a light, he said. At first he thought it was fireworks. It was pulsating lights floating, and he thought, I'm seeing something extraordinary, and obviously this will be on the news tomorrow and people will be talking about it. And nobody did. I've since heard that people have seen things in Port Talbot, so I think there's something going on there. Yeah, there does seem to be certain areas that are plenty busy with lots of UFO sightings. I mean, even what is it? The Gulf Coast of Florida. A lot of people report strange lights over the ocean there, or not the Gulf of America. Anyway, people report a lot of strange lights and things in the skies. So that doesn't surprise me that maybe Port Talbot is much the same. Much the same. Hi, Ruthie, over on Facebook. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thank you very much. All right, so that's that one. I never did put it up on screen. Are you kidding me? There it is. There's the article. There's the guy. Did I put it up on screen, or did I already get away from it? Yeah, I must have already gotten away from it. So there you go. That's article number 2. We got one more to go, and then we will be done with the news and on to the question of the week. Yay! Ruthie says, yay! Good to see you, though. It's nice to have you guys in. Weird Traveler popped in, too. Good to see you. And let's see. Who else? Someone said Roman. Who's that? Who's Roman? Is that Roman Daniels? No? Or is he talking about the Roman as in ancient Rome? I don't know. All right, well, let's get to the last article. We'll continue on here. Remember, you guys are welcome to be part of every conversation, so feel free. Just try to capitalize your question or your comment so that it really pops out for me. Phalanx is Greek. See, Alexander the Great. Okay, but what does it mean, though? I don't know what it means still. Unless somebody answered that to me. Maybe that's what Roman meant. I don't know. Phalanx, a thought formation, typically military term. Okay. Aggravated Progressive says phalanx is an ancient military formation. Okay. Thank you, guys. See, you guys teach me stuff all the time. All right. I appreciate that. I'm looking up at the chat. See, I appreciate all that you guys bring to the table. It's no wonder we are a community. All right, here's the last story from Modern Mysteries. Here we go. I don't usually put any stock in these, but it popped up in the news, so we're going to discuss it. Here we go. This is Modern Mysteries Weird Skeletal Mermaid found washed up on beach in Margate, England. Is there no picture? Oh, yeah. There it is. All right. Oh, really? Okay. Well, let's check this one out. A couple who had been walking along the sands was shocked to discover something very strange indeed. Paula and Dave Regan had been strolling along the beach in Margate on March 10th when they came across an utterly bizarre spectacle that could perhaps best be described as a skeletal mermaid. The beach was completely empty, so it really stood out, Paula told Kent online. At first, I thought it was a bit of driftwood or maybe a dead seal because I could see these funny tail things. When we got up to it, the weirdest thing. For the life of me, I can't tell you what it was. The head looked skeletal, but the back part where the fishtail was soft and squidgy. Not sure what squidgy is, but it didn't feel slimy or decomposed, but it was definitely strange. What the hell is Timu doing? Jesus. Before long, a small crowd had gathered, and people had begun speculating over what it could be. Some thought it might have fallen off a boat, while others suggested it could have been a figurehead from a ship and one of those carved mermaids, said Paula, and all that could really be determined for certain was that the creature was artificially constructed. Exactly who had made it, how it had ended up on the beach, however, still remains a mystery. You can view the images of the strange find below. Oh, yeah, that's definitely like a carving, though, isn't it? So, growing up on the shores of on the shores of the Mississippi River, I know dead fish. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think you will ever find, unless somebody altered this. I'm going to the page now. But I don't think you will ever find a fish tail that's sitting vertically in the sand. Never. Especially one that looks like this. I don't know why the hell it's taking so long. Sorry for any lag that you're experiencing. But I want to see this. Is this like a sponsored thing? It's by Decillion Goal, whatever the hell that is. This is their X page. But you'll never, ever, ever see a fishtail that looks like this. Generally, when fish die, just like when other things die, they get all limp and gravity becomes the motivating force. So, I don't know. I don't think it's a real thing. And you'll never see the spines sticking up on a dead fish, ever. Because those are very muscular. Those spines on the back of a fish are very muscular responses. And if there's no life, they're not going to stop up high where they're in full flexion. They would be in the relaxed state where they're down. So those are the things that are really sticking out to me. One, the tail is up, which is, I mean, that's not like a rigid tail, like a bone tail. That is like a carp tail or any other number of fish tails. This, you would just never find a dead fish that has its spikes up like this. At least I never saw one growing up, and I literally saw thousands of dead fish. I don't know. It's clearly been manufactured. So nothing to see here, folks. Let's move along. So there you go. That's the last of our news articles. You heard it now. Maybe you never knew about this before, but you know now. And I don't know. I mean, at least they say, yeah, it was clearly manufactured. They're not trying to sell it as a real thing. They just figure it fell off a ship or something. And it probably did. But anyway, there you have it. Where there's always someone. I had a lady in the supermarket ask me if a similar one on the, I don't know. I should probably not try to do that. Shouldn't probably jump into the chat conversations because I'm jumping in somewhere in the middle and I don't understand the context for any of it. I'll learn my lesson one of these times. Don't neuralize me. We wouldn't neuralize you, Ruthie. We want you to be just who you are. We don't want to change a thing. But there you go, folks. This has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News. Hopefully you found it entertaining, informative, and at least a good time. So let's get back to the rest of the show. We got a lot more ground to cover here. Oh, yeah, I got to work, don't I? Oh, yeah, I got to start pushing buttons and stuff. Yeah, I'll remember my place little by little. Wow, we're cruising. It actually kind of took a little longer, didn't it? Usually we're done with the news by about 7:30, but I think I talked too much right at the beginning there. So, yeah, remember, guys, keep an eye out for the flashing cat ball that's back by the skull there. The white skull. And if it goes off, let me know. If you can see it. I'm not sure if it'll be on screen much or often, because most of the screens I have cropped into my head so you can see what we're reading or what we're talking about. But you know what time it is? It is Discord time. And again, please feel free to join and become part of our Discord community. We've got an amazing community of people. Right now there's 30 people online. Oof. There we go. And you could certainly become one of them. There's 280 total. Well, no, 280 are offline, but 30 of our chat community are online in the Discord currently, or at least they have Discord on and available to them. So there's always great conversations going on over there. We'd love to have you become a part of it. Oh, yeah, the Fiji mermaid. Weird travel. I'm reminded of a funny line from the X-Files. The Fiji mermaid is the Fiji mermaid. Yeah. And that's kind of a good comparison, because the Fiji mermaid, I think, was put out there by P.T. Barnum back in the day, and was basically a monkey crossed with some kind of dead fish. And then they taxidermied it together and made it look like a mermaid, and it did the whole tours and stuff. But P.T. Barnum was also famous for his saying, "A sucker is born every minute." So, so anyway, Weird Travel says, man, I used to get my hand on Weekly World News whenever I could, though if I had to choose between it or Evidencia OVNI by Jorge Martin, I would always choose the latter. Oh, there you go. Cool. But yeah, I mean, but that's the Fiji mermaid is actually a great comparison. That's a good one. Is the Paranormal Portal live in the Discord app? No, I don't stream to Discord, or I guess there might be some way to integrate it better than what I'm doing currently, but I don't stream to Discord. I guess that's something we could look into, though. We're already streaming right now as you're listening. Oh, that was last week's. I got to get back to here. There we go. As you're listening right now, we are streaming to YouTube, Rumble, Facebook Live, X, formerly Twitter, and also Twitch. So wherever you're watching from, thank you. Thanks for being here. It means the world. All right, so we're going to get to the Discord question of the week. And once again, this is an endeavor that's been championed by our wonderful friend, Mr. Chucky Danger, who's also an admin in Discord and a mod on YouTube. But he has taken over the question of the week for me, which has been amazing, because he's doing actually a much better job at it than I was. So God bless the man. I appreciate all of his efforts, and I appreciate all of you that take the time to go over there and just weigh in. The idea behind it is, look, during the course of the shows, you guys get my perspective on everything. I'm always flapping my lips. You know where I stand on a lot of this stuff, and, I'm not saying anything about the value of that, but you know how I feel about a lot of things. But the thing is I love this opportunity because it lets me know how you feel about a lot of these things. So that's why I love the Discord question of the week. Tex, when Tex is on, usually with me going through these, he always says it's my favorite part of the show. And he's right. It really is. It's really awesome to get your guys' take on stuff. So
Note.
it says node or note. It says note. N-O-T-E. Note. The ghost box says note. Okay. People did leave notes here. That counts. But we're going to get to the Discord question of the week right now. Right now. Waiting for my computer to catch up. God, I can't wait to get the new computer going. Oh, I don't love me some computer latency. I just realized how loud that is. Well, that'll get you woke up. You are welcome, Ruthie. I don't know what I did, but you are welcome. Ruthie says, thanks, Brent. So, not sure what I did, but I'm glad I did it. I appreciate the praise. So here is the Discord on your screen. And Discord is not a tough program to use. Essentially, this is the Paranormal Portal Discord. When you join, this is what you'll see. You'll be in the General tab, which when you first join, you'll be here. And this is where you'll pop in, and we can look and see if anybody's joined since the last time I was in here. Good to see you, Sasquatch Chronicles. Yeah, Wes joined. Wes from Sasquatch Chronicles joined. I don't know if he's real active over here. Oh, Big Bird popped in. He's part of it. Big Bird's part of it now. So I waved to say hi. That's what people will do. This is people saying hi. Excuse me. Shelly joined before, and I'm just going down. New baby in the house, name options. What's your baby, Josh? I don't know what we're seeing a picture of. Is that boxes of lettuce or what am I think they're actually not. I think they're like some kind of terrariums. Looks like he has some lizards or something. We are live tonight. Unknown asking yesterday. So, but yeah. So, oh, that's nice. Thanks Renee for the GIF, the GIF. I guess it's GIF because it's not graphics, it's graphics. But when you join, this is where you end up. This is the question of the week. So you just click on the question of the week right here. That'll bring you to the question of the week. Let me scroll up, get to the top here, and we're going to go through these. So this week's question of the week is from Chucky Danger again. UFO craft have been sighted around various military bases and naval aircraft or naval craft that potentially have nuclear capabilities. Top researchers even say that UFO craft themselves run off of nuclear power. Do you think this would explain why some people get burns when touching or around these mysterious objects? What do you think the nuclear connection is? That's interesting because Paul and I had a bit of a discussion like this on his show, on Paranormal Paul's Our Paranormal World. And so I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Michelle Wolfong comes in first and she says, I'm not sure what the connection is. I'm sure they're looking at the energy sources on our planet, as well as studying men, women, and children, domestic pets, and wildlife. Yeah, it's hard to say what they're doing, but they seem to be kind of interested in everything. They certainly are sighted pretty regularly around nuclear installations, whether they are military or civilian. They seem to be very interested in what we're doing there. But they're also interested in a lot of stuff. Good point, Michelle. Bogart comes in next, says, I think getting power for their craft and checking on them, getting them safe, I think. Yeah, maybe. That's a fair take. Yeah, again, we don't know anything. Some ZX81V2 said, the banhammer. I'm not sure where that comment went. It looks like it disappeared, but most likely a technology we are yet unaware of. They might just be keeping an eye on us to see how we are either using it or who knows. Good point, Eric. Good point. Pineapple Tango comes in next, says, I don't think that nuclear power is the only thing giving people burns. When you drive a car, motorcycle, or cook on a stovetop or use various machinery, even refrigerators, they get very hot or at least very warm. Perhaps some of these burns are the result of that. I do know that there are also a lot of radiation burns that occur from being in close proximity or even inside of these craft. Maybe they fly around nuclear sites and such because they are wirelessly charging themselves. Maybe. Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, who knows? Again, I'll weigh in at the end, I guess. Paranormal Paul weighs in on this. I think they're checking or possibly testing our capabilities, whether they are charging their craft or not. The part that scares me is the fact that they seem to be able to remotely disable our nuclear weapons. You hear so many stories that people see these craft flying over nuclear bases, then all of a sudden, they are reporting some or all of the weapons are offline or they are arming them. If they are able to manipulate our weapons so easily, we would be completely defenseless if they decided to attack us. Yeah. True, that's a sobering thought for sure. Stone Hobbit says, charging their batteries. Yeah, you could be right. Could be that simple. ZX81 is referring to the banhammer. Sorry, it's a play on a D&D banhammer plus 16. The banhammer is basically the power of an admin their mod has. Beware the banhammer. Eric, the Wandering Purple Hobbit, responded to that. Josh Casto says, great question, Chucky. I've heard a couple of different things. First, yes, they use the nuclear energy, maybe. And the other thing, or then the other is we weren't ready for that power and they're just shutting it down. Could be either or. Yeah, sure could be. Good points. Rachel comes in next and says, it does seem to be a type of nuclear energy. I do question that such an advanced civilization would use their technology to be what looks like carelessness towards witnesses that have been injured by encounters. Yeah. I mean, the truth of the matter is maybe they didn't even know somebody was there. I don't know. I mean, who knows? They're just doing their thing. And it's like somebody coming up in the blind spot as you're in a parking lot and you're backing out and, oh, geez, I almost hit somebody. So maybe it's kind of similar. I don't know. I mean, we oftentimes think that these beings are so much more advanced and in control than we are. But I again, these things crash all the time. So obviously they're still having the same issues we have. So Karen Alberting comes in next, says, my brain is not working this week, so I really have no answer to this. Other than radiation burns being caused by the nuclear power, yes, they must be recharging. Wow, am I tired? Back to lurking. Yeah, that's fine, Karen. Thank you for weighing in. And then the last one is from John T. Some ships may be made of organic origins, but if nuclear, they would cause burns, I guess. Yeah, there's plenty of experiencers who have obviously been exposed to radiation after seeing one of these craft or some kind of craft. And maybe it's one of ours, who knows, that they're seeing and they think it's alien. I don't know. Again, it's speculative for sure, but very cool. So this is the question of the week, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Now, I do think it's kind of funny that what I was talking on Paul's show is something that occurred to me. It's like, yes, we utilize nuclear energy, but we use it in such an archaic manner. We use the nuclear fuel to heat water, so it's basically just a glorified steam engine, much like on the old trains back in the 1800s or earlier. It's like, yeah, we're utilizing nuclear energy to do it. And I think that perhaps we're way behind the ball on this one. Like, maybe we should look at the nuclear energy as a means to access directly rather than as a result of nuclear heat. We heat up water and that creates steam, which turns turbines, which again is such an old principle. There must be a much more efficient use of this, being that it's, neutron heavy and it's always blowing neutrons out. There must be a way to harness that directly, not just as a means of heating water to run a turbine, the same as we've been doing for centuries. So I don't know. I'm finding that's kind of bizarre. Linda, thank you so much. So Linda gave a membership, and looks like Hirde Dilan is the one that got the membership. So congratulations, Hirde, and thank you so much, Linda, for making that possible. Brent, did you know Luke, a.k.a. DMT Dead Man Talking, the cryptid narrator? No, I don't think I ever met Luke, Chris. Not sure who that is. But when you say did something happen? Because that sounds past tense. So I'm sorry if that gentleman passed away. But no, it's not somebody I was familiar with. Yes, let's get Nikola Tesla info out. Yeah, exactly. Tesla had something sorted. Now with the information coming out about the potential civilization or construction beneath the pyramids, maybe we will crack some kind of new idea for how to harness energy that's much less impactful. Weird Traveler says, I'll admit, it sounds interesting. Foot Clan, the most amazing thing, these things are documented from the 70s and 80s that science has discovered decades later. I think it's having an experience with these beings, but I don't believe everything they tell him. Oh, I don't know who he's talking about. Some experiencer, apparently. Now I got hiccups, Jesus. Went from froggy to hiccups. There we go. I'll get better, I promise. Thanks for the membership. Oh, well, yeah, you got Linda to thank for that, but thanks for being a member. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you want to stick around here today. You're welcome to if you want to. We'd love to have you. So there you go. That has been the question of the week, folks. So special thanks again goes to Chucky Danger. You're keeping this stuff rolling, man. That is amazing, and I really appreciate it. I don't think Chucky's in here, though, so we'll have to... I hope he watches the replay, because it sure is appreciated. But, ladies and gentlemen, join the Discord. You too can be a part of the question of the week and so much more, and all the other questions and discussion threads that are going on. We have Bigfoot, we got Dogman, we got ghosts, we've got UFOs, extraterrestrial encounters, cryptids, music, which is really cool because some of you guys have posted some really eclectic music I'd never heard of, but some wonderful stuff. Strange phenomena, Paranormal Portal library where people recommend books they've read, which is awesome. And if you're an author, feel free to post your book in there, in the Discord, in the Paranormal library, along with information of how people can get your book. That's fine. I'm happy if you guys promote what you're doing. That's great. Paranormal movies and TV is in here too. So if you're a documentary maker or have some favorites that you want to recommend, please do that. Art gallery, that's here too. If you find paranormal art or whatever, just feel free to post it. Some beautiful AI renders. That's nice. Captain Picard, gotta love that. And paranormal humor, which is always hilarious. This fence is delicious. Yum, 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 yum. Looks like the tree is eating the fence. It does. You ever see those old trees that have been around for a long time and like they've eaten a bike? There's like it's like half the bike is in the tree and the other half is out of it, or a chair that was rested against it, or any number of things. It's like, wow, trees are incredible. Let's mess with humans. That'd be a great t-shirt, Annie Manu. That's a good one. Probably is somewhere. But there's all kinds of stuff. So then there's the Paranormal Kitchen. If you find recipes you want to recommend to people, by God, feel free. Maggie's posting looks like beer. But anyway, there's coffee flavored Doritos. Come on, really? That can't be real, is it? That can't be real. All right, but anyway, there's all kinds of cool stuff, and then paranormal pets, which I think is not quite as, maybe it's just paranormal pets dressed up. I don't know. I don't know how people are utilizing this. I thought Sheldon created a new thread for what is this? Paranormal conferences? Yeah, paranormal conferences. There's a conferences thread in here too. If you know of any paranormal conferences going on and you wanted to post awareness for everybody, please feel free to do that. Go in there and post it. Like, Vernal, Utah, Phenomicon is coming up in September, as is the Crossing Realms Conference in Missouri. Those are two that I know I'm going to. The Crossing Realms Conference is put on by the Blondes and the Booze and Tax's Front Porch. Paranormal Paul's a part of that one, as is Donnie Cho and BMR, Bob, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. I said Bob. So if you know of any conferences and you want to let people know about them, please post here in the Discord. Sometimes they just pop up, and I don't know when a lot of conferences is going on. I've done Google searches, but I almost don't like doing Google searches anymore because I get everything except what I'm looking for. So, but check it out. That is available. So we'd love to have you be a part of it. This has been the Discord question of the week. All right, that's the Discord. We got that nailed. We did it. Thank you, Chucky, again. Appreciate it. And we'd love to have you all get involved, if you don't mind. It is free of charge. Doritos with that spicy cheese sauce for dip is the best. That's hard to argue with that. That's hard to argue with. Doritos are hard to go wrong with. Unfortunately, they're very wrong for me personally, because I'm on a diet. Justin Gooders over on Rumble. Good to see you, Justin. Excuse me. Hold on. Coughing. Again, If you have any questions or comments, just capitalize them so I can see them. I'm just looking back at the chat to see what I might have missed. I don't really see anything right now. All right, let's get to the next part of the show, which is actually, time is it? It's 8:04 already. God, the time goes fast. We're going to hit an article from Thought Catalog we've been going through for the last few shows. This is Tales of the Paranormal to read if you don't want to sleep tonight. These have been really good. I've really enjoyed these. They're very well done. This is another one of those Reddit scrape articles, but I love them. I love these. And all of the experiences are really just one paragraph. They're just these blurbs from Reddit that were scraped and featured into this article, but it's very cool. This article was put out by Eric Redding, Redding. I think it's from, actually, this article originated in 2016, but it's last updated in 2022. So there's lots to check out, but I'll put it up on screen. And by God, you can check it out with me. So we're on number 19, The Woman with the Candelabra. And I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's find out. Not me, but my dad. When he was younger, he used to see a woman in a white nightdress holding a candelabra walking along the hallway at his old house. No one ever believed him, but he thought it was his grandmother. Fast forward 20 plus years, and he's talking to someone he works with. This girl says she used to see a woman in a white nightdress holding a candelabra in her old house. My dad asked her where she used to live, and it was his old house. Spooky. It's kind of bizarre that, life was so different. That's how people saw. They just lit a bunch of candles and held this tree of candles walking through their house. It's like, my God, it's no wonder why people died in fires. Fire safety was not a big thing back then, but they're walking around with candles. Hell, even Christmas trees were lit with candles. They'd have candles in dried up pine trees in their house. It's like, wonder why their house burned down right before Christmas. It's like, are you serious? But yeah, that's kind of funny. So yeah, I think that would be an incredibly shocking apparition to see, but it doesn't sound like it was horrible. It just sounds like it's one of those things. So just an echo of time. Maybe it's residual. Maybe it's just a residual haunt. Like, it's not really intelligently aware that it's there. It's just an imprint of a time gone by. But very wild. Crazy. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 20, The Knocking. I was in 7th grade and we just moved into a mill town house. One of the houses built close by a dam and textile mill that used to house the families of mill workers. The upstairs area always gave me an eerie feeling, but I just shrugged it off as discomfort of living in a new place. From the beginning, I had trouble sleeping and was jolted awake in the middle of the night repeatedly for no apparent reason. And then I started to hear the thumping. It started as occasional soft thumps, seemingly coming from the attic. I had my dad check it out to ease my mind, but he found no explanation. Fast forward a few weeks, the occasional knocking has become louder, and I continued to wake up in the middle of the night. One night I was jolted awake, but this time I heard a loud bang accompanied by the sound of breaking plastic. I looked to my window across the room and the blinds had been completely torn and were in disarray. My door was closed, the windows were closed, and the house was locked up tight. I don't think I've ever run so fast in my life. I made it downstairs pretty quickly and the sound woke my parents, so they went upstairs to check it out. They found no cause or explanation. I slept on the couch downstairs until we moved shortly afterwards. An update to the original, my parents still live in a neighborhood not far from that house, and I've noticed that it never keeps an occupant for too long. Also, I never experienced anything similar until this year. I live in an apartment with 3 other people, and on occasion on which one of us has been home alone around 2 a.m., We've heard knocking sounds as if someone is at the door. My roommate's experience, the knocking quit when she answered the front door. In my experience, the knocking stopped when I turned the lights on. It's pretty eerie. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty aggressive, right? If it tears down your blinds, that's the kind of stuff that's like, oh hell no. And again, I guess you got to definitely claim your space. If you got a spirit like that hanging out, you've got to try to claim your space. Not try. You got to claim your space. And if you can't do it, if you can't get rid of it, if you can't make it stop, get people in there that can. Because if it's really trashing stuff right around you, that's an incredibly aggressive thing. Flip Dizzy's coming in with a donation. God bless you. Get a super sticker. God bless you, Flip Dizzy's. Thank you so much. Still love your name. I think that's a cool name. All right. But, yeah, that's pretty strange. There is an old saying, though, and I don't know if there's any merit to it or not, but it's a very old saying that if you ever hear knocking on your door at night, do not open the door. Look out the window. If you don't see anybody, just ignore it. You open the door and there's nobody there. Or is there? What did you just let into your house? So that's the belief, is that if something knocks at your door and you don't see anybody there when you answer it, you just let them in. I don't know, but creepy thought. It's a very creepy thought. Number 21, a feeling of something deeply unnatural. About 10 years ago, I was walking one night with my sister, and we're passing a familiar point on the road when suddenly we both found ourselves about 200 meters back the way we had just come. Ooh. So they were absolutely jerked back for some reason. Approaching the familiar point for a second time, and she turned to me and said, "What just happened?" We both experienced exactly the same thing, like we'd just been pulled back 20 seconds in time. And neither of us could explain it. No spooky ghosts, but a lasting feeling of something deeply unnatural having happened. Yeah, I think that could just be a time slip, a space slip. I guess maybe it wasn't a time slip because they didn't gain time as well. They just lost distance. So they went backwards. It's like hitting the go to jail on the Monopoly board. Jeez, that's horrifying. Paranormal Portal, somebody's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Oh, yeah, could be. Grandizer made it into the house. Good to see you, Grandizer. All right, number 22, dreaming of the future. So this is a story from my family. When my mom was a young girl growing up in Vietnam, she had this weird dream about being in a darkened church. Everyone was talking in hushed tones, but it was English, so she didn't understand what was going on, but she remembered certain details like the stained glass windows and the baptismal font, and she told her parents, but they were kind of dismissive. They told her it was just a weird dream. A few years later, she was forced to flee South Vietnam because of the Vietnam War, and her family relocated into Florida. And they started their life over. About 10 years later, she went to the local Catholic church for her younger sister's confirmation. And suddenly she realized it was the same church she had dreamed of as a child. The same darkened church, the same stained glass, the same baptismal font. She talked to her parents again, and they remembered her having the dream and described the place exactly. Maybe some of it is altered memory, but it's one of our family legends. Definitely a premonition. So the weird part of that, those kind of experiences are, I mean, they're hard to understand because I like to believe that, we choose our course. That everything in our lives isn't just predestined. At this point in your life, you are going to be here. At that point in your life, you're going to be there. And I mean, it sounds kind of like being on a Disney ride. All you do is follow the rail and this is your life. I don't believe in that, but stories like this are very interesting because People are seeing an experience that they have yet to have. And this theme is real common, but does that suggest that everything is predetermined, or just some things predetermined, or what does it mean? So I don't know. I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Well, let's read one more and then we'll get to the cryptids because we are burning through the show at record speed. This one is 23, The Yelling Man. I have memories that are very early and most of them are scary, but I had one thing. When I was very young, and I'm talking between the age of 2 and 3, I used to see this man who looked just like my dad when he holds his cheek to make this goofy face, kind of, what is it? It says kind of like this, but a 40-year-old man. I don't know what kind of like this means. Only the dude's face was like that without even holding it. I don't know, is it like this? Or is it like this? That's what I'm picturing in my head, is like the fishy face, except the guy's face looked like that without doing the hand thing. I recall playing Legos with my brother in our room and the guy walking by the window, turning slowly to look in, bulging eyes, and starts yelling. I'd sit on the floor frozen in fear, and my brother didn't see these things. And now that I think about it, this man I saw was never directly in front of me. I only saw him through windows. I'm pretty sure I was one of those kids who hallucinated when they were very young. I don't know. I don't think it's that simple, though. I think that's... I don't think all kids are absolutely sensitive. I don't think that that's the case at all. But I think it's much more common that kids pick up on things spiritually. Many kids can pick up on spiritual things much earlier than adults. Some kids have profound experiences with unseen presences. They'll have full discussions with people that are never, quote unquote, there as far as anyone else is concerned. And I don't think that that's all children, but I think it's some children. Like when they're turned on, they're turned all the way on. And it's not all of them, but some of them. Where was I going with this? I forgot what my points for this. I forgot where I was going with this, but it is interesting that this kid saw this. And it's possible that this kid was one of those really turned on kids. And that doesn't sound right. Forgive me for the poor choice of words, but you know what I mean. One of those kids that had such a profound psychic awareness at such a young age. And I think maybe it's a paradigm thing where you just grab onto and latch onto the idea. It was just a hallucination. It was just a hallucination. But I think he was just able to see. And I think these beings, these spiritual beings, are also aware when they're being seen. And they can tell by who. Like, I don't know what it is. If it creates a quantum entanglement of sorts, when you become aware of something, it becomes aware of you. Is that kind of an essence of what's going on in these situations? I don't know. Great answer. Your next point was to get off my lawn. Yeah, maybe. Get off my lawn. I've heard 2 stories of 3 knocks when someone is on their deathbed. One story is from Austria, and the other was from Trinidad. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean those old wives' tales are not always so hard to believe they could be true, especially when the same one is repeated across many cultures. It's like, well, what did they know? What did they know? So, man yells at cloud. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, great point, Rachel. All right, we're going to stop this one there and go back to the rest of it. I guess I put up the ghost ball, but it's mostly off camera most of the show. So even if it was going off, you guys probably wouldn't know it. Let's see, where are we at with this one? I got this one, and then I got this one. Okay. What is this? Oh, that's a double. That's a double take. Huh. How did I get two of these open? That's weird. Okay, well, I can close this one then. Oh, I see what I did there. Okay. All right. We gotta go to the cryptid corner now, folks. I love doing the cryptids and creatures. It's kind of like all of the things. Sometimes they're not as much cryptids as they are unusual, but they could be cryptids. We talk about a lot of different things when we say cryptids. It could be shapeshifters like skinwalkers that appear animalistic, but they may also be some kind of humanoid or person with some exceptional ability or terrifying ability, as depends on your perspective. But otherwise, they can be the known cryptids like Bigfoot, Dogman, pale crawlers, whatever. So we kind of cover all of it. But we got one here tonight from the first story is going to come from Sasquatch Chronicles. So let's get over to this and get into the cryptid corridor. All right, folks, it's time. Let's do it. All right, there you go. Special thanks to Grateful Owl for that transition. God bless you. And Unknown, I thought that video was brilliant, by the way. I saw that. That was really well done. I can't download things from Messenger, though. I just can't do it. So if you uploaded it somewhere else, let me know. I did respond to you on Facebook, but I'll try to get it a different way. I don't know if... I think you mentioned that you'd put it up on Discord, too, but I didn't see it yet. So let me know where you put it, and I will find it and download it and hopefully feature it. So, Unknown, if you're out there, and I believe you are, let me know. All right, this is from Sasquatch Chronicles. This is the Cryptid Corner, and special thanks to Wes for letting us use his site. Let's get to this one. This one's from March 29th. The Red Eyes. Actually, this is today old then, isn't it? It is the 29th. It's the Red Eyes. Let's get to it. Listener writes, I had an experience when I was a kid. As time has gone by, I've started to question whether it was what I thought. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on this. It says this was in the 70s. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. My family and some of our relatives decided to go camping around the Mount St. Helens area. My parents had bought this old school bus that had been converted into a motorhome. It had 4 bunk beds in the back for us 4 kids, and I was the oldest. So my dad and his cousins had brought their horses with them to get up to some lakes and go fishing, and we were all just hanging around the camp playing just like kids do. It was about the time that they were supposed to be coming back, and they would have been coming through this staging/parking area before they got back to camp. All of a sudden, we heard a woman scream, and my mom, who was a nurse, went running towards the parking area and told us to stay put. Apparently, my dad had come off his horse and hit his head on a rock and was unconscious. I don't remember how long it took for an ambulance to arrive. We couldn't see it because we were still in the camp, but it ended up with my other aunt staying in the bus with us that night because Mom went with Dad to a hospital. I remember it was in some smaller town. I heard one of his cousins make a comment that maybe Bigfoot spooked his horse. I had a vague idea of what Bigfoot was, but hadn't read anything on the subject yet. We went to bed that night, and I was in the bathroom. I was in one of the bottom bunk beds. Sorry, I misread the hell out of that. For some reason, I turned to look at the window, and there were 2 huge, red, glowing eyes there. I would say they were spaced about 5 or 6 inches apart. I was too scared to say anything to my aunt, so I just pulled the covers over my head. In the morning, I told my aunt what I saw, and her response was that I probably just dreamed about the ambulance lights. I hadn't seen the ambulance. All my life, I believed that it was a Bigfoot that I saw. Fast forward 45 years, I brought it up to my parents last year, and Mom says, his horse didn't get spooked. He was drunk and fell off the horse. I still remember those eyes like it was yesterday. So he got plastered and fell off his horse. Dope. That's not good camping. That's not good. Okay. Well, that's a cool story. Did the person see the red eyes? Yeah, why not? Why not? I don't know. But we're going to head over to Phantoms and Monsters now because it's time to go into these stories. I've been kind of skirting some of them. I mean, Lon is constantly releasing amazing stories over there on phantomsandmonsters.com. So please support what he's doing. Please visit Phantoms and Monsters. Check it out. You can check out all of Lon's published works, which are listed on the site. You can check out information of their research efforts that deal with a lot of the different cryptids and even supernatural stuff. So they got a lot of that going on, as well as Lon's own podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And you can find that right on YouTube, as well as all the platforms for podcasts. But Phantoms and Monsters Radio is pretty fantastic. Lon does live streams over there at 6 p.m. Friday night. So he usually does his live streams in the hour before I go live. So it'd be a great way to spend your Friday. Hang out with Lon first. Come over, hang out with me on the portal, and then I'm not sure who follows. Probably Dave Scott or Paranormal Roundtable. Somebody's doing something afterwards. So go check it out. But there's lots of fun paranormal stuff on the weekends. All right, let's check this out. This one is The Mimic in the Woods. What was it? From March 26th. Crazy. The mimic stuff is kind of creepy. I'm just going to say it. It's kind of creepy. If it'll fit in an email, you can. I think Gmail's got about a 25 meg limit. But if you do mail it through Gmail, it might be able to go through your Google Drive if you have one. I mean, if you've got a Gmail account, you've got a Google Drive. And I think that's 15 gigs free. So you can certainly do it that way. Let me know. Suddenly, I heard a voice calling my name from the direction of my house, sounding much calmer. Seconds later, from somewhere within the woods, yet again, it wasn't an echo. I received the following account, Lon says. Hello, this incident occurred sometime in the fall of 2006. I grew up in a rural part of Ohio. My house had fairly dense woods located directly behind it, and as a child, I had a passion for exploring. I especially loved exploring those woods. It was my favorite place to be. Before the incident, I had wandered through those woods many times, always with my mom's permission. There was one tree in particular that I frequently enjoyed climbing, usually about to the halfway mark, so I could perch myself on one of the heavier branches and just relax and listen to the peaceful sounds of nature. Climbing that tree for the first time was quite an accomplishment. From that position, I could partially see the back of my house. On the day after a fair amount of exploring, I carefully scaled my favorite tree. I seated myself on a sturdy branch and just took in the view. Naturally, being late in October, the sun inevitably began to set within a few minutes, and I always felt a little saddened to see the darkness approaching. The woods were like my own little sanctuary. I could entertain myself out there for hours. When darkness began to fall, however, my mom would stand at the edge of the woods and call my name until I obediently returned home so as not to be stranded out there after dark. After watching the sunset, until I could no longer see it, I began my descent down the tree, and I was nearly at the bottom when I heard my mom's familiar voice calling my name. I thought nothing of it at first. This is as the routine had occurred plenty of times before. But then I realized something strange as my feet touched the ground. My mom's voice was coming from behind me, deeper in the woods, rather than towards the entrance where she always stood and she always called me home. My mom had never entered those woods before, at least not with me. I was eager to find her and show her all of my favorite spots before it grew too dark, and that's when I realized something was off. How could she have gone into the woods ahead of me? Certainly I could have missed her, but as I said, she never entered those woods. She continued calling my name, but there was something strange about it. She sounded absolutely frantic, almost angry. Fearing that I was in trouble for reasons currently unknown, I froze in place. As her voice drew closer, I squinted my eyes to see if I could locate her and determine exactly how angry or upset she appeared to be. However, I didn't see anyone or anything unusual. Suddenly, I heard her voice calling my name from the direction of my house, sounding much calmer. Seconds later, from somewhere within the woods yet again, it wasn't an echo. I wasn't imagining things. I was literally hearing her beckoning me from the edge of our backyard, as well as ahead of me. My legs suddenly turned to jelly. I couldn't quite comprehend what was going on. "Come here right now," the voice that I originally believed to her screamed from just ahead. I realized that whoever or whatever was mimicking my mom was drawing closer. I didn't question which voice was actually my mom's, as there was something about the way it sounded that really unnerved me. Terrified of what I would see if I stood there much longer, I turned around and ran towards the exit of the woods as quickly as my legs could possibly carry me. It was amazing that I didn't trip over anything in my haste. Even though my house wasn't very far from where I had been standing, those woods had never seemed larger to me than they did at that moment. From behind me, my mother's voice continued to call my name, now sounding desperate. Panic set in as my actual mother finally came into view, waiting patiently, as she usually did until I returned home. In my frightened state, I absolutely refused to look back. As soon as I was out of the woods and in the backyard next to my mom, the other voice was suddenly gone. Rather than fading away, it seemed to stop at the moment I stepped foot in my backyard. I must have looked as frightened as I felt because my mom asked me what was wrong. Slowly but surely, my panic subsided. I didn't say anything until we were safely inside the house with our doors locked. I asked my mom if she had entered the woods, appearing confused by the question. She told me that, of course, she hadn't. With that confirmation, I hesitantly asked her if she heard anyone else calling my name and yelling, and the answer to that question was also no. Although I was still very much shaken up, I managed to explain everything that had happened as clearly and rationally as possible. My mother was surprisingly nonchalant about the whole situation, explaining that I must have imagined it, that I was spending too much time out there by myself. The incident in those woods has stayed with me to this day. I can still hear that voice as clear as a bell. Whoever or whatever it was calling my name sounded exactly like my mom. But I know it wasn't her. Not only was she waiting for me outside, but the voice also sounded strange in a way that I still can't fully explain. I didn't go back into the woods until I was 17 years old, and even then, I never hung out for very long. I've carefully gone over every possible explanation, but none of them seem to be entirely plausible. It certainly wasn't my mom playing a prank. There was no way she could have pulled it off. Not to mention the fact that she's never been one to play pranks. I also highly doubt that it was anyone else because, as I said before, we lived in a rural area. The closest neighbor was at least a mile away. And I wasn't personally acquainted with any of them. How could they have known my name and even where to find me? We've since moved out of that house, but my mom and I occasionally discuss the incident. She still claims she never heard or saw anything unusual out there. I know it probably shouldn't, but what happened in those woods continues to bother me. I'd spent many hours out there before that day and never had anything out of the ordinary occur. But the best explanation I have at this point is a doppelganger, possibly a demon, but I'm unsure. If anyone has a possible explanation as to what might have happened, I'd love to hear it. Thank you for reading. AW. Lon has a note, spirits, wood sprites, fairies. I was thinking of the Fae, personally. You know, the Fae are, one of the legendary tales of the Fae is that they like to, you know, cause people to become lost in the woods. They make them want to go to places they wouldn't go. It's like a fairy glamour, if you will. And they mimic, they've been known to take people away in historical references, or at least legendary references. But yeah, I think it could be the Fae. Creepy, though. I would love to think of the Fae as these playful little sprites. Just cute little, fluffy fairies full of love and maybe mischievous, but, just liking to laugh and have a good time. I don't know, though. There's a real creepy part of the Fae. There's a real creepy references and legends of them that are much darker. Much, much, much darker. And I don't know. I don't pretend to know. But that's creepy. That is a creepy story, folks. So that comes up in hauntings, though, too. People sometimes are hearing voices of loved ones coming from their house or somewhere in their house that they're not. Now, I've heard it recommended, and I don't know why. I don't know what the entire idea behind this is, but the idea is that if someone is calling you and you know that that person couldn't be there, or you don't recognize the voice, you're not supposed to answer. You're not supposed to respond. Just ignore it. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what it is. Natives say little people are dangerous. Yeah. And I think if you talk to Monica Rollins of our paranormal, what is hers? Our Paranormal World. Is that Monica? Or is hers Paranormal Planet? I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I'm such an idiot when it comes to names. I just can't grab them in my head very good. But Monica's definitely very cautionary regarding the Fae. Hi, Mercedes. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to be on Mercedes' show on Monday. Is it Monday, Mercedes? See how my mind works? Let me look. No, it's Tuesday. It's April 1st. That's right. I'm going to be on Mercedes' show dealing with the paranormal on Tuesday, April 1st, 7 p.m. Again, Mercedes, feel free to put a link or let people know where to find your show. Where is it? What's it called? Our Paranormal World with Monica. Thank you, Grandizer. I don't know why I'm such an idiot for names. I don't know. It's just like I can't grab them. It's my personal dyslexia. It's haunted me my whole life. Would you believe that I've known people for decades, and there will be times where I can't remember their name? And it's not a function of just being old. It's been that way my entire life. Like, names just don't stick well. Sometimes they do, but most often I will forget people's names all the time. And I don't know why. I feel like a jerk, though, when that happens. So forgive me if I've ever forgotten names, like Monica's show, Our Paranormal World. You'd think I would remember that, but nope. I'm Irish. I figure that's where the leprechaun legend came from, right there. Yeah. I don't know if it's, what is it, American Gods, that TV series? They have a segment dealing with the leprechaun. And I used to love that show. I only was able to watch part of the first season. I did buy the first season back in the day, but then they did some weird shenanigans where they wanted, like, they didn't give you the whole first season. They gave you a part of it when you bought the first season, and then you had to do some other crap to get the rest of them. So I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm done. Just either sell it. Yeah, Ruthie says, I'm the same, Brent. Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad I'm not alone. Worse yet, the puck wedgie, which is a danger in hockey. The puck wedgie? I see what you did there, D. That was pretty clever. But I never forget a face. Yeah, same. So very much the same, Ruthie. I remember everybody's faces that I've met. I just don't remember the name that goes with it. Just my head don't work well that way. All right, we're at about 8:38. We're doing okay. We got more stories though, so let's get to some of them right now. This one is kind of a neat report because we don't do a lot of this, but there's lots of different cryptids around the face of the world. There's lots of different legends, if you will, or histories. And I don't pretend to. I'm not suggesting that they couldn't be real, but they're more regional. Kind of like in the U.S. there was Momo. Momo was this strange Bigfoot-like creature, but it had 3 toes, was very, very, very shaggy, and was seen by a lot of people for a period of time. Almost never hear about Momo now. So maybe it was just an anomaly of a Bigfoot, but in any case, that's a very regional tale that could be, just a misidentified Bigfoot in a lot of ways. But at any rate, let's get to this. This one is from phantomsandmonsters.com. This one is Tech, Cambodia's mysterious jungle monster. Sounds an awful lot like a rock ape or a Bigfoot or a Yeren or a Yowie. I don't know how big these are. I haven't pre-read this, so we'll learn together. But let's do this. Tech, Cambodia's mysterious jungle monster. During the Vietnam War, American soldiers referred to an often seen hominid as the rock ape. Oh, there you go. Okay. I've heard many accounts of reddish hair-covered primates that stood 4 to 6 feet tall, sneaking through the jungle at night. Some of these soldiers even claimed to have killed these primates. Was the rock ape a reality or the result of jungle warfare? Regardless of the claims, people had seen something in these thick forests before the war. All right, here it is. The Ngui Rung forest people, sometimes known as the Batutut or Ujit, are hairy ape-like hominids that the locals say inhabit the dense jungles of Vietnam, especially in Three Forests region, where Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos converge. Descriptions vary in size, with fur ranging from gray to brown to reddish, but the creature is always said to walk in an upright bipedal position. By 1974, sightings had become so frequent that General Hoang Minh Thao, commander of the North Vietnamese forces in the Central Highlands, ordered a scientific survey of the area in an attempt to locate them. While an actual Ngui Rung could not be located, the scientists did make a plaster cast of a suspiciously wide footprint. This information leads up to an article from the Phnom Penh Post that references the Tek, the Yeti of Cambodia. It was a loud evening deep in the jungle. The crickets, frogs, and odd cicadas were busy playing their usual nighttime symphony. A group of trekkers were getting ready to bunk down for the night. My friend was zipped up in a hammock and beginning to doze off when he noticed that all of the insects had stopped making sounds. The jungle went completely silent. Said Greg McCann, a field coordinator for Habitat ID, a conservation group working in Virache National Park, where the truckers were camping. A few moments later, a horrid smell engulfed the camp. Sounds very Bigfooty, yeah? The truckers all emerged from their tents to find its source. A minute after that, the smell had gone and the insects and frogs returned. The next morning, the rangers refused to discuss the issue and wanted out of the park ASAP, retold McCann. My friend assumed that they thought it was a ghost. All over the globe, stories abound about mysterious creatures that live in remote, often mountainous areas. The legendary Himalayan Yeti, North American Sasquatch, the Vietnamese Ngui Rung or Ngui Ung, Australian Yowie or Indonesian Batatut have intrigued explorers and terrified children for generations. It was Cambodia's answer to the myth, the Tek, that rangers believed was lurking that night in Virache, which covers Ratanakiri and Stung Treng provinces. It's said to live in the far northern parts of the national park. The Tek According to a series of accounts that vary from person to person, it's a frightening and bizarre creature to behold. He's said to be bipedal, short in stature, roughly 5 feet tall, and covered in grayish red hair, with arms like machetes. He's rumored to have a healthy appetite for humans. Oh yeah, that's a good reason to get the hell out. Others say he's much larger and without knees. Some say in the national park, hideous roars are often heard at night as hungry tek-teks start biting their own flesh. McCann, whose work takes him deep into the Virache National Park, recalled a hike in January this year when he was warned by his local colleagues not to call out to others on the team. If they were separated, he was told the tek-tek could learn to imitate our voices and then trick us by calling us away using our friend's voice. Once separated from the group, we would quickly be murdered. Similar accounts have been recorded in the province of neighboring Vietnam that borders Virache. U.S. Vietnam War veteran Craig P.J. Jorgensen's book, Very Crazy GI, Strange But True Stories of the Vietnam War. Ran out of air. Mentions a human-like creature encountered by troops fighting near the park. In one chapter dedicated to the ape-like creature, which he suspected is the Ngui Rung, a local name meaning the people of the forest, the monster steps into a clearing about 15 feet from 6 Americans and studies them before turning back the way it had come and easily climbed back up the steep rise. While Linderer was ready for a Viet Cong soldier, he wasn't ready for a face that peered through the underbrush, writes Jorgensen. The soldier speculated it could have been a mountain ape whom one had claimed to have seen previously before deciding it didn't fit the description. But Vu Ngoc Tan, a retired member of the biology faculty at the Vietnam National University, has actually attempted to investigate reports of human-like apes living in the region. His primate researching projects are based in Chu Man Ray National Park, which shares a border with Virache National Park near the Cambodian-Laos-Vietnam border. Locals still tell me about strange creatures like humans living on top of Chu Mom Ray Mountain, he wrote in an email. 2 years ago, I tried to come up the mountain to check, but had no success. There was no time, and it was dangerous. Back on the Cambodian side of the border, locals believe the tek-tek population may have largely diminished as the cryptid primate has fallen victim to an earthly blight, which is deforestation. One ranger told me that his grandfather and friends say that tek-teks used to be encountered 30 to 40 years ago, back when the Ratana Curie, I guess, was something like 95% covered in forests, said McCann. They say the combination of the Vietnam War and the massive ordnance dropped by U.S. planes, plus modern deforestation and poaching, did them in. It's kind of sad to think that they might be gone. Again, it doesn't sound like they were real neighborly anyway, but at the same rate, they had a the right to be there. Interesting story though. Very interesting. I don't want to think that they're the dangerous, but every once in a while, I think don't go near cliffs when I'm by myself in the middle of nowhere. That includes Cliff B. Cliff Barrickman's, he's a great guy. Cliff's a wonderful guy. They spell it T-E-K space T-E-K, tek-tek. It's on your screen, tek-tek. Or now it's on your screen. Tek-tek. There you go. That's how you spell it. So, interesting stuff. I don't know. I love the idea that there's more of them out there. I guess they seem to have a much darker opinion of them over there. Like, I'd heard stories coming out of Vietnam about the rock apes and the local villagers warning people, if you see a rock ape, don't let it touch you, because if it gets a hold of you, it will not let go and it will drag you off into some remote cave somewhere and you'll never be seen again. But if they grab you, you will never get away. Like once they've got their hands on you, and imagine the strength of those hands. Like, I'm sure it's like a vice grip. It's like, yeah, our civilized muscles are not gonna be a good defense against something like that. And God forbid, I mean, what a horrible fate to get dragged off and know that you're going to get munched on. That's just absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrifying thought. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know if we have time for one more or not. I guess we can do one more. This is the last show of the week, but when we come back, I'll have a brand new setup. And hopefully not so much of this laggy crap that you guys have come to love here on the show. How long is this one? This one's not bad. I think we can do this one. So this one is another one from Phantoms and Monsters again, so please support Lon's site. This one's from March 29th, today. Shaggy, ugly, cryptid canine emerges, then vanishes near Southern Oregon fatal crash location. Yikes. All right, let's see what this one's about. Shaggy hunched over cryptid canine was very fast, and the way it climbed up the side of the embankment was very unnatural for most animals. I received the following account. I wanted to tell you about a supernatural experience I had about 12 years ago. I live in Southern Oregon, and I was driving on Upper Applegate Road to my job at a small ranch, and I'd heard about a fatality accident. Quite terrible accident that had occurred on that road. The road is rural and it's quite winding. So I was looking as I was driving to my job, and I was looking onto the road to see if I could see where the crash had occurred because I wanted to be a better driver, a more careful driver. I came to a point where I came around a bend and I saw these horrendous skid marks all over the road. And just as I was observing these skid marks, I saw this dog-like creature from my side of the road run across the road in front of me, right over the skid marks, and into this embankment that was on a 90-degree angle. This dog creature started to just run up this embankment that was at a 90-degree angle, I guess. And then it just disappeared. Then I was driving slowly because it was a difficult corner, and I was absolutely in shock because I'm fairly familiar with wildlife, and this was a type of creature that I had never seen before or since, and it vanished. It vanished into this embankment. To this day, I have no explanation for what it was. Kind of looks like the pictures of a chupacabra on the internet that I've seen because it wasn't large. It was larger than a dog and kind of hairy and shaggy and hunched over looking. It was very fast. It was very fast, and the way it climbed up the side of the embankment was very unnatural for most animals. I don't know what to make of it, but I thought it was very eerie to me that I saw this creature right at the same spot where there had been this horrendous fatality accident. I arrived at the ranch. I felt very shaken because I just couldn't wrap my head around what I had seen. But, that was my story. That's what I saw. I have no idea what that creature was. It was kind of ugly looking, very shaggy, dirty looking something. I don't know, but it completely disappeared into the side of this embankment. It just disappeared. It startled me because I was on alert. After all, I was looking for the place where these people had skidded out. And, I had my mind on that, and I wasn't expecting to see this creature run across the road. It was very unexpected. And, the creature was far enough ahead of me that I didn't have to slam on my brakes, but I could clearly see it. And then it just started up on the embankment at a 90-degree angle and disappeared. Yikes. And there's no comment from Lon on that one. That's very, very weird. I don't know what to make of that one either. That doesn't sound like a description that I'm familiar with. Maybe it's a younger dog man. I don't know. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it is a chupacabra. They're supposed to be kind of all over the place too. Although, it's weird. They kind of started in Central America and now they're everybody's seeing them everywhere. Is that possible? Maybe. I don't know. But maybe this is something else. Shunka Warrican or something. Who knows? I don't know. I have no answers, folks. Just a ton of questions. But we all do. That's what keeps bringing us back for more here on the portal. But I think that's going to be the journey tonight. Back in my encounter region. Oh, is it really? Justin, I'm not educated on the Fae. Or however you spelt it. Yeah. They usually spell Fae, F-A-E, when it's just Fae. F-A-E. But, F-E-Y is fine too. I'm sure it's fine with me. I will never correct your chats and hand them back. But can't say I've seen anything like that in the Applegate area. Yeah, I don't know what it could be either. It sounds like, again, it's one of those one-off accounts. They happen, and they don't seem to have any precedence, historically or otherwise. It's just no other accounts that match it. It's just these one-offs. I don't know what to make of them, but there's tons of them out there, especially in our wheelhouse here in the paranormal. So think of it what you will. I don't know. But anyway, I guess that's going to about wrap up the journey tonight. I hope you guys had a good time. I always love doing these shows and doing them with you. I don't know. You guys get bored? Do you guys get bored with these shows? Like, is there a, just in the flow of the shows, and this is me sincerely asking you. I'm not asking for, please feed my ego. Please give me praise or whatever. But if you have suggestions of things you'd like to see on the shows, or if you think something's going on too long and needs to get a little more brief. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to listen to everything, but I do appreciate your guys' input because you guys are the ones I'm talking to. You guys are the ones that I'm trying to entertain. And if you're getting to a point where it's like, yeah, it's just reading another story, let me know, because certainly we can try other things as well. I always want these shows to evolve. I don't want these shows to ever become stagnant. I don't think I'm doing you guys any favors by giving you the same shows over and over and over. And I feel like things need to change here. I'm just not always sure about what to change. What do you like? What do you like less of? So please feel free to weigh in on it. Aggravated Progressive, I love your stories, actually. Well, thank you. I wish I could take credit, but they're stories I find, but I'm glad you enjoy them. I hope at least I'm doing them justice as I'm reading them to you guys. But I worry about making suggestions, coming across and telling you how to do your show. Well, no, it's not that I'm asking for your input at this point. Believe me, I get a few comments every once in a while of people just being real shitty about it, and that's them. And I generally don't do much more than just laugh at their comments anyway, because it does crack me up when people are just socially absolutely obtuse and they come across like a brick. Oh, this show sucks. I'll never get that time back. It's like, well, if your time's so valuable, you shouldn't be spending it on YouTube anyway. So, but if you have constructive criticisms, please, I'd love to hear it. It's not that I'm opposed to criticism. I'm just opposed to dicks. So, do you feel that your channel is at a crossroads? I don't know that I've I feel like I'm at a crossroads, but I think as a creator, as a person that's putting a lot of effort into these shows that I do, I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the best experience that I can. I love doing the shows, but I don't pretend that I have all the answers of what you want to see. I'll be perfectly transparent. I'm sometimes absolutely shocked at some of the shows out there, and that so many people sit and subscribe, and they show up for the shows, and they sit in the chat rooms, and I'm bored to tears watching them, and I'm like, wow. And I hope you're not being bored here. But at the same point, I want to give you the shows you guys want to see. So please give me your suggestions. I love your Homer Simpson voice. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Portal Crossroads segment. What, with Matt? Yeah, I love working with Matt. If you're talking about Bigfoot Crossroads, I don't know what you mean, Portal Crossroads. Brent, those are where all the Southerners go. Don't worry, it's not your bag. Well, no, I'm not meaning to critique. Well, I guess I am. But I'm surprised because I find myself, I honestly, and this is just me being absolutely transparent, I find myself really uninspired by a lot of shows out there. And that's, I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm really not trying to, but I'll just tell you that some shows I am extraordinarily bored watching, but I'm surprised at how much attention they get. And it's like, well, obviously they have people that really love and support what they're doing, and that's wonderful. It's not my thing, but I do want to make sure you guys feel like you're getting the best show you can right here. I don't want you to watch this show and just go, well, I've seen that 100 times. Now I'm going to go see what else is out there. Not all of your YouTube time is going to be spent in the portal, but I want to make sure the time that you do spend with me is good. How about picking a state again to find a paranormal story from there? Yeah, we could do more of that. We were doing Bigfoot a lot with the BFRO site. That was a lot of fun. We could do that from time to time. You're right. Maybe it's more variety like that. That's a good point, Rachel. So please feel free to, and it's any suggestion is appreciated. Just don't be a dick. If it starts out with how you'll never get that time in your life back and what a waste of time, can't believe you're doing this, then I'm probably not going to listen a whole lot more after that. But if it starts out with, I like your show, but I'd like to see this, what do you think of this? That's great. And maybe you do like the shows the way they are, but do you have suggestions of things that you'd like to see included? I'm not saying we got to reinvent the wheel here, but I just want to continue to evolve these shows to include what you guys think could be fun. And maybe we'll try it and it doesn't work. And that's okay too. Listen, Brent, if you were Byred, what's Byred? We wouldn't be, bored. If we were bored. Okay. I got you. Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I love the show and the honesty. I appreciate that. But I also want you guys to know that I do value your opinion. And if you have suggestions you'd like to see on the show, send them to me. It doesn't even have to be, your show sucks and you should do this. Just, hey, would you try this? Why don't we try this sometime? And I'm happy to. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but let's just, let's feel free to throw your ideas at me. Just email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. The call-ins were awesome, you're right, but I couldn't. Here's the thing with the call-ins that kind of prompted me to stop doing it. One, I was piggybacking on Truth Frequency Radio's call board, so I got it for a song. I didn't pay much to have that service. It was wonderful. But I did find that I would have this call board available, and it was rarely used. It was something that was costing the show money, but I wasn't seeing any real value in the show. Like I would maybe get a call once a month, or unless Deb was on. If Deb was on, the call board was lit up like a Christmas tree, which is fun. And I love doing the shows with Deb too, but doing the reading shows. But other than that, I didn't get anything out of there just in the terms of the callers. They'd come in from time to time. But when I'm thinking of being, fiscal investment for me is a big thing. I want to, I don't have a lot of expendable income. So if I'm not seeing value on something that we do, then I'm going to probably trim it. And the call board was one of those things. It's like, when we did Deb doing call-in readings, it was electric. The phone board was filled up. In fact, the queue was overfull. People were actually not getting their calls going through because it could only handle so many calls. But on other shows, it wouldn't ring, or nobody would call for weeks. It's like, wow, I'm throwing money at this. So that was kind of what happened. What happened there. I love the idea of being able to hear from you guys, but I don't know that I'm ever planning on bringing that back. But maybe if enough of you think that it would be something of value, then we can look at it. Maybe we'll utilize Discord for that you guys we can have a Discord connection where you can call into the show from the Discord server, and that wouldn't cost me anything. And we could do that. What about scheduling one of us to Zoom in? I don't do a lot of guests on this show. Once in a while we have guests, but I do a lot of guests all the time on my podcast. So it's possible, I guess, that, we could have guests here. That's certainly always been possible. If anybody feels like they have a lot of experiences and they want to come on the show, I'm always happy to have you. And if it's something that you'd want to do on the live shows, sure, I can always make podcast episodes of that after the fact, or even just break it into 2 hours where we have 2 guests come on. Just with people wanting to share their experience, then I got 2 podcasts I can create later. So that's fun too, and it makes my job easier. If I can do anything to help out, I'd be glad to help out. Unknown, you've been amazing for a long time, brother. Thank you so much. You've helped out a ton, and I know you're always willing to pitch in, and that really means the world to me. But if you're going to fake Bigfoot, don't run across a road. True. That's a good place to end up dead. But just throw some thoughts into it, guys. And if you have suggestions, I'd love to hear them. You know, it's always wonderful. So please let me know. But for shorter stories, not everyone has enough for a podcast. Yeah, that's true too. Good point, Elaine. Maybe if we had a night where we line up, 8 people to come on and share their shorter stories, that's fine too. Otherwise, another option is if you have stories you want to send in, I can narrate them for you. You don't have to necessarily appear and do it yourself. Just write it out, and I can read them for you and then put them into a listener email podcast episode after the fact too. So lots of ideas, lots of possibilities for that. So it's not just one thing. Maybe I'll do another email address for my paranormal portal stories at gmail.com. Maybe I'll do something like that. I don't know. I haven't done it yet, so don't send anything there. But anyway, just some thought. But if you guys have suggestions, please feel free to send them to me. Again, my motivation is just to give you the best show that I can. And I don't have all the ideas. If you have a great idea, share it with me. Let me know. But do it with email if you would, please, so that I can collect those and put them together and weigh out possibilities. Doing it in the chat here is fine too, but I'm probably going to not see part of it just because of how fast our chat moves. So anyway, yeah, we can always utilize Discord. That's something we can build into future shows too. So keep that in mind. If some of you would like to come on and just tell your story on a Discord connect, we can do that. So lots of opportunities. Thank you, Curious Potato. I'm really thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for being a part of it. But that's going to wrap it up for tonight, folks. Anyway, I'm going to get going. I'm kind of out of gas. And remember, love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. If you have show ideas you want to suggest, email them paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Thank you, Rachel, for posting that in the chat. But love you all. Take care, Car Juice, Barbara, Justin. And I know Big D was over there earlier on Rumble. So thank you guys. Anybody over on Twitch, X, and Facebook Live. Love you guys too. Thank you for tuning in. That's going to wrap up the show. Good night, everybody. Love one. Love one. Love two. Thank you, Mary. Good night, everybody. Take care. Good night, Renee. See you guys. That's all I got. Thanks, Grandizer, posting the P.O. box. Anybody wants to mail anything to me, just want to send some love. By God, I'm happy to receive it. Just make sure it's legal. Thanks. All right, everybody, I'm rolling the credits. Good night.